Hi, it's Will from stormthecastle.com, and here on YouTube you know me as Epic Fantasy. And this is my latest tutorial. This is a blacksmithing tutorial. I know you love the blacksmithing tutorials. I got a few more coming up. And this is how to forge a knife from a railroad spike. Can you see that? Kind of an easy blacksmithing project. If you're new to it or you want to try it, this is actually a nice way to start. Let me see. See a railroad spike here? Take that and forge it out into a knife. Kind of fun. I've also, while I was doing that, I also worked on something called a rondelle. This is a medieval weapon, and then I get more work to do on it. There'll be a video on this, and it's for like piercing and armor, and kind of made that out of a railroad spike too. Fun project. Thanks for watching this video. If you're a subscriber to my channel, thanks for subscribing. If you're not, hit that button. Always lots of fun and interesting stuff. All kinds of subjects I cover. Lots of creativity going on. If you're creative, you'll probably enjoy my stuff. So let's launch into the introduction, and then let's do how to forge a railroad spike knife. Thank you. Dioramas, origami, catapults, and treasure stays, telescopes, terrariums, bonsai trees, and paper games, swords and shields, and real blacksmithing, model rockets, animation. I teach you art of real creation. StormTheCastle.com. Let's make something. All right, let's get our hands dirty and crank up the forge. I use hardwood lump charcoal and fire. So we'll put our railroad spike in the fire. Don't even worry about the rust. We'll burn that right off. Now, a big thing about blacksmithing is you got to watch the piece, you got to watch the fire, and you got to watch the piece. You move it around, you cover it up a little bit, you uncover it, you try to get the heat nice and even for where you're going to be working on the piece. So keep an eye on it, but that comes with the more you do it, the more you see. See, it's starting to look pretty good there, starting to heat up kind of even, and it's got a nice look. I like it. But we'll keep at it, and once it's ready to start working, we'll work it. But you see, it's getting better. And I wanted to point out something. Now we're going to start working this. I wanted to show you that for this project I actually used multiple hammers. I used some different weights to do different things, some different shapes, and I'll show you that as we're doing it. Even though this is a simple project, this is a nice little thing to show you that the importance of various hammers. So first off, I'm using a big old 3.5 pound hammer to kind of just flatten it out a bit. Start to establish some kind of a shape and the thickness of it. And you flip it over because you want the knife to go right down the middle. We don't want the knife to be all on one side. You understand what I mean? So you do some hammering on this side, you flip it over, do some hammering on the other side. Keep an eye on that spine. That'll tell you if you're staying in the middle. See, it looks pretty good. So there we go. Get some hammering, flattening it out, trying to establish a little bit of a shape. And notice, this is important, but where I have it placed on the edge of the anvil makes a difference because that's going to cause some of the shaping. When I'm hitting it right there, right near the edge of the anvil, that actually compresses the metal there, but not off the anvil, and you kind of got to tinker with that. I do have a tutorial on how that works. So, repeated heatings, back to the anvil, heat it up, back to the anvil. Now it's starting to get to where I want it. We're thinning it out. We're establishing some kind of a shape on it that I want. And see, that needs some work. See how that's crooked? So I'll focus a little bit on that. Start to straighten it out. And now that's on the edge of the anvil like that. See it? There we go. Starting to look like a knife. Then we can change to a lighter hammer. I actually had changed to a lighter hammer before, but this is an even lighter hammer. You can see the difference. Because now we don't want to move as much metal. We want to start to do more shaping and have more control over it. And the smaller hammers are better for that. See, I'm always looking at that like that to make sure that's nice and even and straight. We want that knife to be nice and straight. We want to spread it out evenly. and it's, you know, it's got actually two bevels to it. It's thicker near the handle and goes thinner towards the point, and it's also thicker along the spine and gets thinner towards the blade, the edge. So, you know, these are considerations when you're working it. See, now I'm shifting to an even smaller hammer. Kind of nice, and start to establish what I want to do here. And I'm going to show you one more little thing that I'm going to do in a minute. But here, nice ball peen hammer. I like this hammer. It has a good feel to it. So now this is what I want to show you here, the choil work. Now I'm actually using this specialized hammer to kind of move that metal in like that and establish that shape. See, that's kind of like a curve and a corner. And I do this on both sides. I'll show you that too. And then I switch to the ball peen hammer to kind of round it out. But see, that's a quick way to manipulate the metal. See how what happened there? See how it changed the angle? Now the ball peen to clean it up a little bit. And of course, turned it over and did the same thing on the other side. All right. Now, I'll do some final work. I like that nice hammer. Clean up any curves and edges, get it nice and straight, and then flatten out the steel a little bit to clean it up to make it easier later for the sandpaper work. And that's it. We're just about done here on the forge. I know you're going to miss. You're disappointed. That's it for the forge work. As our knife looks pretty good. And I'm going to leave the handle exactly like that. Just very rustic. I don't know the word for it. So let's get it in the shop and do some work on it. Nice. Any kind of tools you got. And we followed our usual standard of rougher down to finer in terms of work and detail. So we start with a heavy grits belt and do the profiling work, and then the cleanup work to get most of it cleaned up. And at this point I changed to a different belt on the sander. I think it was about a 120 or a 150 maybe, 120. And I don't show you it all, but after that, once I get it all cleaned up and shaped nicely, then I move on to filing. And filing gets it to its final shape in terms of the shape of it and the surfaces. And now a little bit of emery paper. That's a heavy grit, like a 50 or an 80. And it looks pretty good. I like it. Now we get a couple more steps. See, there it is. There's where we're at. There's our knife. Now we got to harden and temper it. So, you can take it back out to the forge and harden it. It's a lot easier. Or you can do it with a torch. It takes much more time, and you got to be much more patient with it. But you want to heat it up to red hot. It takes a while, particularly depending on how thick and how big your knife is. But you'll notice one wonderful thing here is when you're heating it like this, you can see the transformation it makes, and it goes through its color stages from a wheat to a blue to a plum, and then on to, you know, the red. And so the purple, see that deep plum, it's getting hotter and hotter. And then once you get it up to red hot, you quench it. And now it's hardened, and you should do this process twice, even 3 times if you want to. Heat it up, quench it, heat it up, quench it, heat it up, quench it. Now it's brittle because it's so hard. So what we want to do is we want to temper it, which means soften it up a little bit. And we do that with the color. With emery paper, clean it up so you can see the color of the steel nicely. And heat it up one more time. And this time we stop at wheat color. So keep the torch away from it because it's very easy to overheat it. I think we only want to get to about 450 degrees here. You see that wheat color starting to show, and I could have gone a little bit deeper here, but I didn't want to over soften it. But you can see that wheat color shows up. You know, flip it over, do both sides so it's even. Get as much wheat as you can on it, and then you quench it, and that's it. Our knife is done. We'll just do the final polishing. And I went through a series of grits. I started out with, I think I started out with 120, and then I moved on to the 220 like this. You know, and you can put as much work into this as you want, depending on how shiny you want it. You move on to the 400. Then I did, I believe, 600. all the way up to 1500 grit to finish off the knife. To the 600. And you feel the difference with these. You start to feel the metal. So that's it. We have taken a common railroad spike and made a knife out of it. Let me know if you want me to do another one. I do have another spike. I probably have a few more spikes around here somewhere. Get any ideas. I may put a handle on this spike. I'm not sure yet. But I like it. All the thing remaining now is to sharpen it. But I won't sharpen. I generally don't sharpen mine because I show them around a lot and I don't want anybody to get cut. So here's a couple more other projects you might like that are in the blacksmithing realm. On the top there is the very traditional how to make a knife using the stock removal method. That's a really popular video. And below is how to forge a sword. Got to make a special forge there for heating it up evenly. Thank you. Hit that subscribe button.